Hey, nice to have you along. Thanks for joining me on this quiet Sunday morning. We're heading down Jackson Street in the historic Jackson Square neighborhood of San Francisco. We're on a quest to find San Francisco's shortest drivable street. Majority consensus seems to be that Balance Street is the shortest drivable street in San Francisco. Balance Street, which is coming right up on the left. Now, there is at least one other street that's a challenger for the shortest drivable street, so I'm going to call this video here Episode 1 in anticipation of there being an Episode 2 later on in which I explore that other street which might possibly be shorter than Balance Street. And by the way, my other goal is to make the world's shortest drive-lapse video in terms of distance traveled, not necessarily in terms of time. Okay, that's enough of an introduction. Here we go. We're going to turn left on Balance Street. Don't blink or you'll miss it. Actually, let's pause here for a second so that we can admire Balance Street in all of its glory. And wouldn't you know it, even the shortest street has got a homeless guy sleeping on it. Before we continue, one other thing I have to point out. You'll notice there's a plastic bottle there to the left, probably discarded by the homeless guy, I'm guessing. When we proceed, I'm going to be accidentally running over that plastic bottle, and it's going to make a loud noise. And I just want to repeat that is not, I repeat, not me running over the homeless guy. That's me running over the plastic bottle. I did really feel bad about that, though. That must have been really loud next to that guy sleeping there, and I didn't really mean to do that. So I apologize to that guy if I disturbed his sleep at all. Anyway, let's continue our drive all the way down to the end of Balance Street. Okay, well, we're at the end of Balance Street. I hope that wasn't too long of a drive for you. As I said at the beginning, I wanted to make the world's shortest drive lapse in terms of distance. Usually a drive lapse involves some lapsing, in other words, speeding up the video. That wasn't really practical in this case since the distance is so short. However, to make this be a drive lapse, I don't know if this will satisfy the International Committee on Drivelapse Standards, which I think is in Switzerland or maybe The Hague. But I'm going to rewind us back, take us back, and we're going to go back down Balance Street again, this time in slow motion at 40%. So that we can savor every foot of Balance Street, and also so that I can call this a drive lapse because at least it's time altered, and therefore I'm going to say that's a drive lapse. So here we go. Now that we're traversing Balance Street in a time altered fashion, my conscience is clear and I can call this a drive lapse. The next challenge for me is going to be getting around this corner up here. This is actually the intersection with Gold Street. We're turning right onto Gold Street. This is not my car. It's a borrowed car, so I'm not familiar with it. It's a Ford Escape SUV, so it's not small. So as I go around the corner here, I kind of got to be careful. And I actually managed to make it. I did have one wheel go over the curb, but no damage to the car, so great. I want to thoroughly document Balance Street, so we're going to go around the block and come back and go down Balance Street in the other direction. This time, to change things up a little bit, rather than the dash cam view, we'll have the driver's perspective view. Alright, we've gone around the block and we're going to enter Gold Street from the other end. We're now looking from the driver's perspective, which is me. And do these warning signs bother us? No, they don't. We're going on in anyway. A little bit of history here. This area, Jackson Square, has some of the oldest surviving buildings in San Francisco. From the mid-1800s, they miraculously survived the 1906 quake and fire. And right about where we're paused right now at 56 Gold Street in 1848 was an assay office. And that's where Sam Brannan walked in one day and announced that gold had been found at Sutter's Mill. He walked into this assay office right here with a bottle of gold dust to prove it, and thus began the gold rush, and that happened right here where we're paused right now. Okay, that's enough history. Let's continue our drive back to Balance Street. Once again, I've got to get around this corner here in this unfamiliar car. And you can see that our homeless friend is still there. Okay, there you have it. We have successfully navigated Balance Street, San Francisco's shortest street in both directions. Uh-oh, up ahead it looks like there's another homeless guy having a little emergency situation with his cart there. Let's switch from the driver perspective back to the dash cam so that we can get a better view. The dash cam's a better camera. Oh, that's not really something I really needed to see. Oh boy, looks like about half of his worldly possessions have fallen out of the cart there and into the street. And no, I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I'm not trying to make fun of this guy, seriously. I'm sure he's got a rough life, and this is part of it. But this is what happened. This is reality, so I'm not going to edit it out. I'm not going to pretend he wasn't there. I'm not going to pretend it didn't happen. Well, back on a more upbeat note, this concludes our tour of Balance Street, San Francisco's shortest street. But before we go, I should mention one last thing. You may have been wondering all this time, where did the name Balance come from? Well, the street is named after a ship called Balance, which came to San Francisco in 1849 during the gold rush. Like most ships were at that time, the ship was abandoned. Everybody came here and abandoned their ships and ran off looking for gold. After being used for storage for a while, eventually the Balance was buried somewhere around here, and the street was named after it. In fact, this used to be the edge of the bay right here. Balance Street used to be on the very edge of the bay. If you look at the map, you can see just how much of the bay has been filled in since those gold rush days. And that fill includes many ships that were abandoned and sunk or buried. One other thing about Balance Street is actually only a block away from one of San Francisco's most famous landmarks, but because of the building and the angle while you're driving on Balance Street, you can't really see it. But if we get out of the car and pan the camera up, well, there it is. You can see how close you are to the world-famous San Francisco landmark. And don't forget about the annual street fair held every fall, where they close off the entire Balance Street, and all of the residents of Balance Street come out for the fair. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tour. Keep your eye out for episode 2, when we'll examine the rival street that may rival Balance Street as being the shortest drivable street in San Francisco. I don't know when I'll get to that, but I will get to it eventually, I promise. And lastly, I can suggest you look around at other videos on my channel as long as you're here. Might as well get that plug in. I don't like putting all those annotations all over the video, subscribe and all, covering up the whole video with annotations. I think that's annoying. But I'll get in this plug here. If you've watched this video all the way to the end, who knows, maybe you might find something else on my channel interesting. Give it a try.